Bonjour and welcome to Let's Get to Know You, the channel where we talk about LGBTQ and also share our experience. So today we're having India. Hello India, how are you?
I'm fantastic and it's a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine. I'm very excited you're here today. I've got so many questions for you.
Fire away, open book.
So the first one is, who is India?
India Willoughby. I am probably best known as being Britain's first transgender newsreader. I've also been a Loose Woman, which is like a big talk show in the UK, and I regularly go on Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan.
Oh, that's that.
Who is a controversial figure within the LGBT sphere. And I also do talk radio as well.
So, you just mentioned you were the first trans news reader. So, when back, who were you before your transition?
Obviously, being transgender, I was born a boy, and I used to be called Jonathan. But I always knew, like, it's the old story about trans people who end up transitioning. You know, you more or less know from an early age that something isn't right.
So how can you explain that? Because a lot of people say, I always knew. But what do you mean by? I always knew I was gay. But how do you always knew you are an opposite gender?
Well, it's something you just feel. It's very difficult to articulate that feeling. Everybody in the world, by the age of 3, knows whether they're a boy or a girl. Now, for 99.9% of the population, because everything matches up, it's not something they even think about. It's never a question in their head. But for somebody like me, I just knew internally, even though I knew nothing about gender politics or anything, that I should have been a girl. And that thought was always in my head every day up until I transitioned early 40s.
Why did you wait that long?
Just because of the era that I grew up in, it was such a taboo subject. My only references to anything even close to me were drag queens, people like Danny LaRue or Les Dawson. I think that's why I've always had a problem with drag, because drag effectively, although they're not being intentionally malicious, it's a man in a dress who is inviting laughter at them.
I understand, but do you really think that's an issue for transgender women?
I think it's a big issue. You know, growing up, knowing how I felt and eventually transitioning, being called you're just a drag queen is an actual insult for somebody who transitioned.
Is that the fault of the drag queen, or is just people don't educate themselves the way they should educate themselves?
As I say, I'm sure the drag queens aren't doing it with that intention to whip up a storm of anger. I think the whole concept inevitably creates that situation. And for me, I think that's just why I feel uncomfortable around drag acts.
So when you were younger and you knew you were opposite gender, did you ever actually thought maybe the closest I can be is to be a drag queen?
No, never.
No, for you it was just like no question, because that's not who you were. Yeah. Okay. But you also think that everyone should be able to live and feel the way they want? Absolutely.
I think LGB does a fantastic job for the gay and lesbian community, and I'm absolutely 100% an advocate. You know, I don't have an issue with LGBT people as such. I just think that it's really important that for people in my situation, you know, where we're not gay.
This isn't the way I see it, and come from a place where I don't have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
I see transgender as a transgender woman, as a transgender man, and it's one thing. I see drag queen as a performance. In my head, I will never mix both.
But you said just earlier on that a lot of people get into drag and then realise that, I'm trans.
Well, I don't think it's quite that. I think is that they get into drag because they don't know how to, in my opinion, how to transition, and it's the way to accept yourself. And then in the future, I think they were transgender before they become drag in their head and body. Do you know what I mean?
The problem I have, Marlon, is because I'm heterosexual and I'm like, I just consider myself a woman. Yeah. If I go on something like a date, I find out that 9 times out of 10, they'll end up saying, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I'm not gay.
Oh, okay.
Because the T sits with the LGBT. And then I have to go through 40 minutes conversation explaining what the difference is.
Without that, I understand that, but I still think the T should stay with LGBT.
I do. My ideal
find the place to educate people.
I agree. But I suppose what I would like is, if you fully transitioned from male to female, man to woman, then why do you need a T?
For your community.
On either of them. But why?
To be part of a community.
But why? If I walk around with a trans tag as a heterosexual woman, who's
Same
not
again.
gay, it
Same
complicates
again.
my life.
Well, my opinion is that instead to try to change that, we should
Educate.
And you can do that with the platform that
Honestly,
you have.
straight people haven't got the time or inclination. In the real world, out there, outside of LGBT, they're just heterosexual straight people who are cis-normative, and they're not interested. Okay. Generally, that's my experience. Oh my God! Oh my God!
We talked about who you were before and the first news anchor as a transgender. I mean, this is a really big thing. Did you feel the pressure?
I did actually. I was originally a newsreader as my old self.
So as a man.
And then when I realised that I had to transition, this was before Caitlyn Jenner and trans became a thing, I thought, there's no way they're going to hire a trans person, and there's certainly no way that I can read the news one day as a man and then trotting to work the next day and go, hi, as somebody else.
How did that happen?
Well, I left. I quit my job. I didn't tell anyone why I was quitting, and I just walked away. And I spent 5 years, this weird scenario that I set up, because I didn't want to tell my family at that point that I was transgender, because I was terrified. I had two lives. I got a really ordinary, bog standard 9-to-5 job in Newcastle, which was an hour's drive away from where I was living in Carlisle. But I worked as somebody called Joanne, and all my workmates in Newcastle didn't know that I was this other person. And it was like quick change. If you've ever seen the film Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio, that's basically what I was doing, but in a gender concept. It's like suddenly my world went from black and white to colour,
to be you.
Everything clicked, I felt completely normal. So I just said, look, this is who I am.
Me.
Told everybody, family, friends.
So how that went? Family?
My mum was upset, but not in an angry way. You know, she was totally on my side as from the moment I told her. But obviously, she went through about 2 weeks grieving process. But then she says, "Right, this is absolutely right. I can see that it's right for you, and I'm on your side." And I told her this story that I'd been living this weird life, two lives. And she said, "Well, what were you called?" I says, "Well, Joanne." She says, "Oh, it's a bit of a plain name." I said, "Well, look, you're my mum. I'm your firstborn.
Choose the name.
You pick the name."
Oh, that's
so
cute.
she said, So she went away, and then she came back and she said, "India."
Really?
So yeah, I love my name, India.
Oh, I like the little story, the fact you didn't let your mum, because you're right. She would have chosen if you were a girl.
Of course, absolutely.
Amazing. So when you introduce yourself, obviously you are in the media, so everyone know who you are. But do you like to be identified as a transgender woman, or you just want to be identified as a woman?
Definitely just as a woman. I don't want to airbrush my history, and I would never attempt to do that. And certainly in terms of my media work, obviously a lot of it revolves around trans issues, so I have an input on that. But on a day-to-day basis, as a woman, and that's all I want to be.
So it's something I would talk to you about, because I was so frustrated.
That's okay.
So I'd known you from Big Brother. At the time, there wasn't a lot of transgender women on TV, and then we had the opportunity to have a transgender woman in Big Brother house. I was waiting for the answer that I needed, and I didn't get that from you.
No, it all went horribly wrong.
I was very upset because we had another side, and I'm not comparing.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
We had Courtney, who was a drag queen, who came with the men. So it was very clear.
Yeah.
She was a man, and that was her heart. And then we had the female who came in, and you were in, so it was clear for everyone that you were a female. So I thought, okay, perfect. We're going to get educated. And I think you got so frustrated that we didn't have the chance to get really educated from it.
Absolutely not. It all went pear-shaped from day one. Big launch night, lovely frock, makeup, hair, everything done.
Beautiful.
I go in, and within 15 minutes, I have Anne Widdecombe and Rachel Johnson calling me he and him.
Yeah.
And
this is where I'm upset.
Because it really upset me.
You didn't take the opportunity.
No,
you got angry very quick instead to educate them.
But what happened was in reality TV,
because we don't see everything.
You don't see everything. So it's a bit like me saying, "Would you like a cup of tea?" And then your first reply is, "It's okay, thanks, don't want one." And then I say, "Are you sure you wouldn't like a cup of tea?" I say, "It's okay." But by the time you get to the 99th time saying, "Are you sure?" You go, "Shut that off." So you saw a really squeezed, condensed conversation where the misgendering was going on. And I flipped. And do you know what? I am glad that I actually flipped.
As soon as you flipped, you didn't come back from that.
I didn't. No, it ruined it.
I did just watch, and I found it very offensive that she was keep going to say he. You are not a he, you are a she. Absolutely. And then you came with the woman. So the whole thing was set up very clearly.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, she did it on purpose. Without a doubt. That's not the only comment she made throughout the series about the LGBTQ community. But why I was upset is that I didn't get what you did from you.
I know.
I know.
It's a missed opportunity.
We learn from the experience that we have. So if you ever had to go back, is there anything you would change?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't flip, I think, basically. And actually, do you know what I would do? I would say, if you want to call me he and him, carry on. Call me he and him, and we'll see who looks the worst when we come out.
Yeah. Now I've got a little game for you. I've got 10 questions. You're only allowed to pass one.
Okay.
Okay? Let's start, okay? What was your last takeaway?
Oh, it's a Neapolitan pizza.
What are you watching on Netflix at the moment?
I'm watching Comedians in Cars Get Coffee, Jerry Seinfeld. Fantastic.
I'm going to watch that. I need to catch up on Instagram because everybody telling me new things that I haven't watched.
Very good.
Where was your last holiday?
My last holiday? I've got to say I'm an atheist.
You just come back.
Oh, holiday! I thought you said...
Sorry. I'm French. If you didn't get it, I'm French.
My last holiday.
Holidays.
Corfu. Can I say it's been a revelation?
Just came back.
I travel by myself. Best holiday I have ever had.
What makes you sad? Don't say drag queen. You can't just
No. It's seeing other people who are sad.
What makes you happy?
I think freedom. Just being...
Good.
Me, having grown up as I did and always had that nagging sort of discomfort, now it's completely gone. If I die skint with no money, with no house, do you know what? I'm still going to have that inner
that you were who you want.
Warmth. And yeah.
Single, snug, or loved up?
Single.
So you're not going to like that question, but hey, who knows? Which RuPaul Drag Race is your favorite?
I've never seen Drag Race.
Okay, so that's a pass.
I can't watch it. Sorry.
Tell me something about you that nobody knows.
Oh, my eyes change colour.
Oh.
Maybe it's a hormonal thing. Who knows? In my old life, I had very dark brown eyes, but now they fluctuate between green and amber.
I'm very similar. My eyes turn green or brown or function of the weather.
You've got beautiful eyes, actually.
Thank you.
No, you have, really.
Any question you would like me to ask you that nobody ever asked you? Nobody can reply to that one, so I hope you can.
No, I can't think of one.
No, that's fine. The last one, what would you tell your 10-year-old self?
Go with your gut. Speak to somebody, honestly. As soon as I told somebody, a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. But ultimately, be true to your heart, never give up, and never change yourself.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much. It was lovely to meet you. If you like what you saw today, check out the next episode or follow the link to like the YouTube channel. Thank you very much, India.
It's a pleasure. Oh, so nice.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. If you did, please like the button, subscribe, share. But also you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Grindr, Scribe, Chappy, Hinge, Tinder. I'm everywhere. Just find me. Waiting to hear from you.